next year's schedule, so I'll probably send it out.
It is long.
I usually try to take it to the first meeting in November. And then I can. Monday strategic planning.
You just get it.
Every other day. Mr. Whip. Agenda. This is an online agenda, but everybody put their own reports in.
No, that's what we did at the research district. They all have to load it and then legislative services finalizes the agenda before. So
Do they amend their report to do any formatting or anything?
their report is loaded as right to it, like as a PDF. So no,
We don't want that.
That could be a problem.
then it's on the department head that puts it up. Trust me.
Is it growing pains with that, your worship?
Oh, God, yes. It's the program that's the problem. They add stuff right up to them.
And I need to contact them because they send me the link to the agendas as well.
Doesn't work.
No, I click on it and then
You can't, it doesn't work. I can't even access it. Well, I mean, in order, I want to acknowledge that the Smoking Valley was the learning word organized, the Council of Association people, one of the upper Smoking Indian band. We had 2 additions to the agenda, 11.1 and 11.2. That can I get a the agenda as amended?
I'll make the motion.
Second, Mr. Mayor. Favor, carried, thank you. Adoption of minutes from the September 4th regular meeting of council.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Board second. There's our missions. Favor. Carried, thank you. September 10th, committee of the whole minutes. Motion for those. Make that motion, Mr. Mayor. Second. Councilor Gould. Here's our missions on those ones. All in favor. Carried, thank you. We do have delegation today. So I'm going to ask. Up to the podium. Absolutely. So yours, you got 15 minutes.
Fair enough. Well, first off, thank you, Mayor Coyne and Council, for this opportunity today to speak with you. As some of you may know, I've been kind of the guy behind this whole disc golf thing in Princeton. And I initially just came here to invite you to our club championship this Saturday, October 5th. However, they said downstairs, well, why don't you come upstairs and present us? So, well, sure, why not? Absolutely. No, so anyways, here I am. So I thought I would just do kind of a quick breakdown about disc golf and everything that it has provided the community, and then some future goals, and then I have something I'd like to hand out to everybody. Did not bring enough copies because I wasn't sure, didn't know that there would be lots of extra people here. So, what is disc golf? Disc golf is a affordable sport that any person can play, all abilities. You can be a year old and be able to throw it in a basket, or you can be 90 years old and playing with me and my brother, which my grandpa did when he was still alive. Disc golf is very cheap and affordable. You can get into the sport for as little as $20, and most of the courses in BC are free to play. There's about 150 courses in the province, and disc golf courses usually have 2 different settings. The first setting is in a rural piece of land, like we have here, which is that area up by the airport. And is everybody aware of that area? Okay, so that is your kind of your rural park that hasn't been developed. You can go in and put in a disc golf course very easily. It's some concrete pads and a basket. And then from there, you can expand it, obviously. The other type of disc golf course is usually put into a park that needs some revitalization. Having said that, it's a good way to bring new people to an area and help kind of sometimes push out bad people in the area, if you know what I'm saying. I can't really say it much better than that. So those are your two different types of disc golf courses, really. So the course that we have up there at the Whistling Kettle up by the airport, it is that rural type of disc golf course. First off, I'd like to really thank Lyle for helping me kind of get in this direction, and then also Nadine as well. Both of you two people have been absolutely inspirational and been very helpful in making this whole thing happen. So thank you, and thank you to Nadine as well. So the course that we have up there, Nadine pretty much gave me that and said, here, we'll see what you can find. So we picked that property there, and we picked it because of its terrain. It's got lots of hills and dips, and it would be absolutely useless to turn into anything but a parkland, which it already was. We went in there and we did a Fire Smart program. So we had the Fire Smart team come along, they paid for lunch. We went in there and we cleaned up all the ground cover. We cut all the branches on the trees. We've been working on that one for probably about 2 years now, kind of going in and doing sections at a time. And then we also have had the Wild Safe program come and with Carolyn Blank make some signage. I felt it was important, and same with Carolyn, because we have the Laurie Curry Ranch Nature Preserve on the one side, or reserve on the one side, and then we have Swan Lake on the other side. So when I was first walking that area, I really noticed that there was quite a bit of animal traffic through there, and so it brings a little bit of awareness to it. The best thing about a disc golf course, it's a multi-use area. So the course that we have right now, I've talked to the horseback riders, they're all in favor with it because it's making the area that much more safer. They still have their trail, they still get to ride through the course. You get the mountain bikers and you get the hikers and the runners and the bird watching people. And as disc golfers, we know that if there's somebody ahead of you, you just give them a simple wave or wait for them to walk by and then you can continue your game. So it's really non-intrusive to other groups that are already using an area. That's a huge one right there. For the maintenance of a disc golf course, with the property that we have up there, you don't need water. You don't need a green grassy field. Those are really nice things to have, but you don't need that. The biggest thing is you just want to go in and make it safe. And so it's kind of knocking the weeds down and picking up any type of debris that somebody might trip on and breaking up rocks and all that kind of stuff. So the course that we have here, I applied for to Weyerhaeuser, where I work. I've worked there since 2003. I knew the unit manager very well, and so I went to him and asked him kind of roughly how to go about this, and so he kind of steered me in the right direction. And we got a grant for $15,000. Nadine has let me know that all that money's been used up, but what we were able to do was build a disc golf course, a 9-hole course up there. We have red tee boxes. They're shorter in length. We have blue tee boxes, which are longer in length. The reds make it easier, the blues make it harder. So you can have, once again, families from young to old playing the course. We put in proper regulation baskets, which really will draw in people. We've also just recently completed signage. So we now have a main brand entrance sign, and then every single tee box has got its own unique individual sign. That helps with just new people coming to the course and also being able to make their way around the course. So that is what we've done so far with the club and the funding that we've got. As you guys probably know, the town has recently gone in and they put a parking lot in there for us, and they poured a concrete pad, and now we have a gazebo, and we have a picnic table. I think we're gonna get a garbage can at some point soon. So far from the town, the cost hasn't been really that much at all compared to other organizations that have come to you guys. I think we're probably a one drop of water in a bucket. And I wanna take credit for that in the sense that, you know, being able to say, here, go for it, and that's kind of just going for it was really inspirational, and it really kind of helped get something special up there. The course that we have, and unless you play disc golf, you don't know, it is an absolute gem of a course with the terrain that it has. It is just, it's a one of a kind type place. So, Mayor and Council, you guys should be very proud that we have something as special as that up there. Our accomplishments would be that we built the course. We started off with just a basic course, just kind of rough and rudimentary, and then we were able to upgrade it to what I was telling you about, all that kind of stuff. It's close to the high school, so now I'm seeing the Princeton Secondary School using the facility quite a bit with the outdoor education program, which is absolutely phenomenal because, as we all know, it's only less than a kilometer away from the high school. What else do we have? So we've had quite a few events at the course so far. We had a club championship last year. The club championship consisted of getting everybody together. There was about 40 of us. Everybody had 2 rounds of disc golf. Everybody had a free lunch, and everybody got a prize at the end of the day. The club itself, we formed a club, which was last year in January. That was our goal, is to take all of the money that we generate and have a tournament at the end of the year where it doesn't cost anybody anything to play. So having said that, right now, currently, we do a $10 membership, which is extremely affordable. And then on league nights, it's $2 to play. So, you know, it's really not that much. It works out to what, $104 a year plus 10, so $114 to be playing every single week of the year. That's one other thing I forgot. Disc golf can be played all year long. So it's one of those amazing things. I think I have 5 minutes left. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So back to the events. We've done the club championship. We've had many numerous cleanup days. Fire Smart came along and they actually provided us lunch one day while we did all the cleanup. We removed like 12,000 pounds of pine needles off that course. Those dump trailers that you pull behind a pickup truck, I think it was like 6 of them completely stuck full. So we've had, this year was the very first time we did an all accessible disc golf day. This was started by a friend of mine in Caribbeas that's a disc golf fanatic as well. He is trying to make disc golf inclusive. So whether you're got a broken arm, you're missing an arm, you're in a wheelchair, you're able to still be able to go out and play a sport like disc golf. So with his accessibility day, we set a small course up at the Whistling Kettle, and we had 4 different stations. One was throwing blind, one was throwing from a chair or a wheelchair. The third one was throwing with earplugs in, and the last one was throwing with your wrong arm. We just did short little holes, and it really gave everybody an opportunity to see what it's like when you have, when you're not as able as other people. And so, having said that, I would like to hand something out to Mayor and Council if possible. I can give it to Randy here. Okay, sure. And I brought some extra copies, so I'll give them all out. And this is kind of something I've been working on for a little bit of a while now. I see a real big opportunity for us to do something very small and make a huge impact. And that is putting a small 3-hole disc golf course up in the Mine subdivision, or tucked way in the back there. So that park there, as you guys know, it's a very flat piece of land. It's maintained by the town. The beauty of it is it's got trees. So there's a whole section of it that can't be really used by anything else except for disc golf. This would allow for this course to be able to be played by Vermilion Forks Elementary School, which would be kind of a leading up and graduating the kids from a middle school where they learn how to play a sport to actually being able to play the real thing when they get into high school. I don't think I have enough time to go over this whole entire proposal, but I would love to leave it with you.
Yeah, Tim and I actually went up there last fall, for some, he was looking at it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's very similar to what you're.
Yes. And so that's kind of what I was looking at with this proposal, is to make something where we have all-inclusive disc golf course. Not only can Vermilion Forks play, maybe somebody at the hospital is going through some really bad times and they just need to go and throw a couple of discs. Or, you know, we have some people in this community that are definitely have some accessibility issues. This gives them another opportunity, which is huge. So, that's about all I have. Did anybody have any questions or anything like that?
Like, are the discs specialized or is it just a frisbee?
So you can use just a frisbee, but they are specialized.
Okay.
They're small. They're about this big, so they're about 9 inches. And they weigh anywhere from about 120 grams, which would be what a little child would use, to about 180 grams, which a fully grown adult uses. The world record is 1,200 feet for throwing one of those things. Yes. And then you have drivers that go really far, and you have putters that don't go very far, but they fly very true to where you throw them. So, yes, to answer your question.
Okay. So you can't just, like, because you had said that there's a price like about $20 to $40 to get started,
Yes.
but is it something that you can go pick up at Fields, like you can pick up a frisbee at
Well,
Fields?
you go to Canadian Tire, get like your own cheap set if you want to get a cheap set from there, just with one of them. So,
Yeah.
I think Sports Check has some now.
Yeah.
A lot of the places starting there. You get a 3-pack and they're cheap, like under $40. You can have like a fairly okay starter set. Kids starter sets, it's easier to buy the good stuff, right?
Absolutely. To also add on to what your question is, there's a potential for a small business here to maybe even just have a small little section where they had a 20 or 30 just that they could sell, and their cost wouldn't be that much. You know, $1,000, and a small business in town would definitely be able to have a very healthy section of disc golf discs for people to come and buy. Also, our course has also put in a box up there at the Whistling Kettle, and it's got discs in there that people can just come up and use. So,
Thank you, Ken.
yes, thank you, Bart. Yes, Barb. Is there any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
We will, has Nadine, have you given a copy of this to me?
Yes, Nadine has a copy,
Okay. So
but I'll give her another one as well, a paper one.
we'll have a chat with her. See where it goes. We're doing strategic planning. So let's see what's going on there and plan.
Okay, and so, the last thing before I go is, we're having the club championship this Saturday. It'd be great if you guys stopped by and took a look at the disc golf course and got to see the real pros play the sport. We're running it from 9 AM to 3 PM. If you come up around lunchtime, we can give you, some hot dogs and some chili and some pop and all the rest of that. So it'd be great to see you guys. And, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, moving on here, there's no unfinished business, which takes us to staff reports. 6.1 is grant aid allocation, James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, on February 15th, during the committee of the whole meeting, council decided to grant aid to the Kokanee Swim Club for $3,000 for their coaching. Traditionally, we've given that to them at the end of the season in case there's shortages or overages. Haven't heard anything, so we're asking council authorization for $3,000 grant aid that was decided back in February. Also, we received a request from the Hospital Auxiliary Association They had an outstanding water bill from 2021 that they have paid. However, due to provincial legislation and the fact they own their own building, penalties and interest get accrued onto that. The amounts approximately $95. So we asked council for a one-time grant of up to $100 to pay off those penalties and interest. They don't have to pay it.
The organization, the hospital auxiliary, are they one of our tax exempt
Yes,
properties? So they wouldn't get a tax notice to get
that's right.
that notification that they're in arrears, which is where that would normally trigger, so that they would know that their water. Because I was trying to understand how they.
That is a good point, is that they don't get a taxing restriction.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second that, Mr.
Making the motions. Favor? Great, thank you. 6.2 is the 2024 town person tax sale.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it's our traditional tax sale resolution. Basically authorizes CAO Thomas or his designate to bid on behalf of the town of Princeton, which is allowed in the Local Government Act. Typically, we've allowed up to 50% of the property's value. As of today, we have 2 properties that have still delinquent taxes remaining on them. So at this point, we have a tax sale. We are doing everything we can administratively to contact those people to get the money in. So we don't have a tax sale, but if we do, this allows us the framework to be able to proceed on behalf of the town.
Anybody any questions? Yeah.
I'm sorry, how long do they have to pay it after? Isn't there a time?
Yeah, so they have 1 year from the date of the tax sale, so they'll have until October the 7th, 2025 at 10 o'clock to pay the taxes and avoid the transfer.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
You guys are all. I'm sorry.
I'm touching that motion.
Cool. All in favor? Permissive tax exemption report, James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, again. Yes, so report for information only regarding the submission of permissive tax exemptions. It was advertised in the newspaper in accordance with section 94 of the community charter, which is basically public notice. So 2 notices in the newspaper, re-advertised it in our biweekly ad, and we received no new applications for permissive tax exemptions. Current tax exemptions, a new bylaw does not have to be passed till 2029 on the existing properties, and there are no changes to any of the use that the finance department's found. So we're asking that council accept this report for information only.
Questions? Second. Steve, all in favor? That's carried, thank you. I guess this one's over to you, Mr. Seo. UBCM grant application support the fire department.
Yes, this is a province of BC grant that's being administered by UBCM. And it is to support local fire departments with training and small amounts of equipment. It's a fully funded grant, and so the recommendation is to apply for it.
No questions? Seconder? Favor? Carried, thank you. Takes it down to 6.5, and it's another, what's the ESS one? Yeah.
Yes, so this is a very similar thing. The only difference is that we are applying it as applying for it in cooperation with DRDOS. It is, again, a fully funded grant. And the purpose is to support training for ESS services volunteers. So the recommendation is to apply for the grant with DRDOS.
If I remember right, this is like before.
Yes, this is an ongoing one, yeah.
And question on that, have we been successful each year? Because
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think we get more apply together.
Yeah. And it builds up our regional pool as well, so training.
Questions? Or
I'll make a motion.
motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Carried, thank you. Takes us to 6.6, which is accessibility assessment plan. Carried.
I'm requesting that council appoint Meraki Community Planning to help with our accessibility assessment and plan in the amount of $45,286.50 plus taxes. The assessment and plan project will form an accessibility committee. We will do an assessment of our community and then have a plan. And we will also have a tool for feedback from the community on our accessibility. It's going to help to plan and remove barriers that are in our community. And everything should be publicly available. And we are to review and update our plan every 3 years. This is something that's legislatively required, and we were to have something in place as of September 1st of 2023. That is not a typo. The only thing that I have begun working on is in terms of reference for the committee. And it's just due to staff capacity and all the legislative requirements that have been passed on to local governments for the planning department with OCP updates, zoning, and housing needs.
Any questions?
I do. In the recommended motion, it doesn't say about like that CAO and the mayor sign. Is that needed in there or no?
How long they plan, how long does that take? We're behind that already. Is this a year?
So at the time critical, so we want to begin this right away. So we are currently just finishing up our housing needs report and our poverty reduction assessment and plan. We've begun our zoning bylaw review and updates. So once we take one thing off the table, we're going to add this on. So we'll get working on it right away, form a committee and start doing the assessment.
Thank you.
And then also the familiarity with that consulting group is good because they've already handled it.
She's amazing.
She is.
They already have
That's-
some background information.
What is it, what do you call it, a round table or whatever it is?
Sharing circle is what we called it. There was 17 people in this council chambers on Friday from interior health, family services, One Sky, 100 homes. And it was for the poverty reduction and housing needs, and it was awesome. It was really good. Yeah. So she knows a lot of contacts and she knows her community, so it's perfect.
I'll make the recommendation there.
Thank you, Councilor Gould, seconded. Councilor Elliott. All in favor? Carried, thank you. 6.7, Carrie. I'm excited about this one.
So, as part of the airport housing development proposal, we have to remove the hillside from the ALC. So this process is, right now coming to communicate to council on the next steps. Part of that is, staking a notice in the area, showing that we are doing an application. We have to plan for a public hearing so the community has the opportunity to be heard. And then from that, we would take the public hearing report to council at another meeting with a request to either move forward with the ALC application or not. So those steps need to happen in order for us to continue with the application. And I'm seeking council's approval to move forward with that.
Is there a chance we don't get this out? You know, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things.
There's always a chance.
Right, it's just like, I feel like we want time for it.
I think right now with the need for housing, the provincial government and the ALC are looking at.
This is a long process. We met with the ALC board of directors. I think directors we met with them.
Mhm.
But it's spring or last fall. And we made our case and we just had to make our business case for it. they know the dilemmas, they know our challenges. You know, explain things to the only piece of property the town owns that we can get out of the ALC. So other we can
The
do
flood
it,
zone.
that's not the flood zone. So, that's the only option we have. So we have a strong case moving forward.
There was a few other steps that we did prior to, like the official community plan. It does show it in the agricultural lands or property, but we changed the land use to residential. And they received the full OCP. And we did have one policy in there that we would work with the ALC on the removal of that property. That was the only thing they asked us to remove. The rest of the mapping they were okay with. So we had to go through that process. Jared worked on the NAVCAN approvals to be able to do a development in that area because it is an airport with a runway. So we've gone through that process and this is the next step.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second.
Speak up.
All in favor? Council, so I'll start with council.
I guess the main thing was the UBCM. I thought it went pretty well and we had some good minister meetings. Yeah, you know, it's always a interesting event. You meet lots of people and I'd say the meeting went off pretty well.
Well, I did not attend the UPCM this year, but during between the last meeting and now I did attend again on behalf of the Princeton Alcohol Use Disorder Group and went up to the first annual Harvest Festival and BC High School Rodeo in Princeton. It was that committee, the Two Rivers Special, Councilor, can you confirm?
Two Rivers Events Society.
They did a really good job. They had a lot of volunteers. It was a really good event, well attended by the community. And it was fun to see it come back again. So that's really important.
Thank you. Councilor.
Few more things to mention. I went to an Okanagan Regional Library Board meeting in Kelowna, attended UBCM. The day after UBCM, I was in Karamias for the day. I helped with the Similkameen Sizzle Pepper Festival. I was involved in that for the first 15 years that event went on. I took a few years off. They invited me to help them last year, and I guess for some reason they liked what I did because I got invited again this year to help. So I spent the day there. It was a lot of fun. There were some vendors there from Princeton, and quite a few Princeton people wanted to check it out. So and it happened to be the same day as the high school rodeo. So it turned out it was and Harvest Festival. It was great that there was still some Princeton people who were able to bounce back and forth between the many events going on in the valley. On the 24th, I attended the Princeton Arts Council annual general meeting, conducted the election of officers for that group, and there's a completely new set of people involved in the table officer positions. And on the 29th, I attended the meet and greet of two guests, Rolly Russell and George Heyman at the Copper Pit, and that's my
Councilor.
Yes, I attended UBCM. We did have some interesting meetings where we were able to speak to the minister in terms of seeing if things couldn't be kept on improving on the whole Princeton in terms of the importance of it. Back to the fact that closures happen on there every once in a while, and as a result, Highway 5 gets heavily used, and also Highway 3 gets heavily used, and the importance of trying to keep both those stretches of highway up in decent shape. Just asking that we don't need a major project if we can just keep nipping away at it every year with a project here and there to straighten out or create 4 lanes or whatever. The other part that I found interesting was housing. meeting that was, thing I got out of it was, that when we take our time, or we, as a result of steps that we have to go through to process building permits and that sort of thing, we're actually raising the price of the building in the end. Or my example that I used was a piece of highway that we wanted to get done, wanted to pave, where we talked about it. It was in the $600,000 range, and the next time we asked about it, it was in the $1.2 million range. Just, and the other one that came up, and I talked to Kerry and Mark about this, but one of the people that was speaking talked about permitting, numbering the permits. Like, I know we have one permit that we're in the 4-year, waiting for 4 years for. It would be very nice if that was a numbered process, rather than them you phoning in and you asking where it is, well, it's still in the pile. Well, if they were numbered, then you'd know, okay, it's number 17 away, or it's number 15 away, or whatever. You could see the progress. Or now, for just about all of permitting procedure, is that it's just in the pile. I thought it may be a lot of work from our perspective. Not sure what, because you would have thought it would have been in place already. But most of these things, all of the time when you're checking on them, it being in the pile doesn't give you any idea of, are we 10 away, are we 100 away, or are we 150 away, sort of thing. That was some of the things that came out. I just find it very interesting to be able to bump shoulders with people that are in the same boat as you, trying to do the best for their community and trying to find ways, and you discover little innovations and stuff that you're able to bring back to your council and see if you can integrate that into our progress. That was some of it.
Here, let's start here. So UBCM, of course, I was there along with most of us. I did between Silga, the RDWS in the town, I did 15 meetings with ministers and staff. Super busy weekend. I was a speaker at UBCM with the rising cost of climate change on municipalities. It was successful. I was elected as a member of our director at large to the board in our first meeting. So 3 days to Vancouver. Hit the ground running, coming home on Saturday, went to the Harvest Festival fairgrounds and took in a few hours there before heading down to Sizzle for a while. And then I got extremely sick right after that, and I was pretty much stuck in bed until I think I came in Wednesday for a few minutes, and that was it. And Thursday I came in for a little bit, and I met with staff and the engineering team. They're preparing their final report to the council on their flood mitigation planning. Come back to us here soon. It wasn't there very long. And then later that day, Lyle and I met with Big, just to go over some concerns that they had at the CUD and where we could cooperate with some things. Friday, another busy day. I came in and that's more of an observer than anything, the stakeholder sharing circle that Kerry was speaking about for homeless, housing and homelessness. Really good discussions all around. I think we got some really good feedback from the group. We were able to clarify some of the misconceptions. Great. Same day I had a climate caucus, actually two climate caucus meetings, but one was around the impacts of tourism. Yeah, to like the climate events like the fires and all that kind of stuff. But, there was a really good speaker there. Remember from Blackwell, from Clearwater, I don't know if you all know him, but he was the operator of Wells Creek Park for over a decade, I believe it was. So he kind of gave us a rundown of what he's seen in industry wise and whatnot. It was really interesting to hear his take. See if we can get him added to the Sylva convention this year to speak there. While we were at UBCM, I also had another meeting. I was added to the Pacific Northwest Economic Regions Tourism Advisory Committee. First meeting there, so that was pretty cool. I had a follow-up meeting with David Carter, and all they had about use the SBPS on the Cruise and Crow's Nest to drop traffic out of the Vancouver area along Highway 3 to the southern corridor in Alberta. I feel like there was something else though. That's my one. Any questions? Yeah, we'll move on. We have two letters, correspondence from City File. The first one is a letter to Freddie Ruby from City Mission, which is huge at this point. And then 8.2, which is approval for the asset of questions or motion. No. Last questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. That takes us to 11.1. This goes to Gary. This is over to charges for the
Thank you, Mayor. This is for the amenities building at the RV park. So we had some challenges over there. These ones weren't as significant as the plaza, but we did have an issue where we ran into overages. We had to do redesign of the building because when it was originally laid out, they didn't take into account the elevation and distance from the highway. So we had to move it over. So there was a $5,000 to redesign the entire building. And then we had to switch from hot water tanks to an on-demand system because showers 4 and 5 in that facility would not have gotten hot water. And we've actually added pay-per-use in the new facility. So that came to an overage of $21,432.67 that I'm requesting, plus GST from council.
Jim, where's that one going to come?
Well, it is an overage. All the grants that were applied to that capital project have been exhausted, so it would come from general municipal revenue at this point.
We got that one even though.
Yeah. We'll find it.
Director Schatz, when you did the redesign, was it indicated at that time there was going to be an increase?
Yes. Yeah, they had to, everything, the original design was for 2 rows of the building. There was going to be a washroom on each side with a hallway through the middle. We had to move the building 100 feet down and change it to a 1-row building.
So was a new contract signed or a new agreement?
No, because I wasn't anticipating this project to go over. It was other things that led to the overage. So when we had it laid out by our engineering team, they did not take that into account.
So seconded.
Second, any last questions on that? All in favor? Opposed? And the next one is 11.2, and this is
Thank you. Again, this is a difficult, challenging project. As we all know, it was scheduled to be done 1.5 years ago, and we ran into numerous complications over there. So I've listed the overages there we've ran into. We've had to engage numerous architects in order to get that project back to where we originally wanted it. Actually, was originally proposed 4 meters from. We went through a number of architects and designs and buildings, and we ended up 3 meters away. However, that was a lot of time and cost involved to have that redone. We had to add a revision to the wheelchair ramp in there for accessibility. Engineering for the new plan review and design of the foundation had to be changed because when we dug into the ground, we found unstable underneath. So there was overages there that had to have that ground adjusted. New decking material. Originally, we had planned to use Kevany for that. However, there was a waste of the Kevany. We would have been throwing away 2 feet per board, and that's an expensive product to do. So we had to adjust for the decking. So we'll save that if we use the Kevany for future things, whether it's repair or if we continue our sidewalk project, we have Kevany left over. The excavation of the site, as I mentioned, the installation of the decking and the roof panel construction were all add-ons into that project. And I'm asking for that totaled 88,567.33 plus GST.
Again, James, do you know what this?
And it's also going to come out of municipal surplus, and yes, there is sufficient.
So for me, I just, again, like, that's pretty substantial overage. Is there, I understand then that Sitka is like the overseer general contractor of the thing.
They were the general contractor on the job.
So was the scope of the original contract changed by having to do?
Well, when we ran into a fountain at the visitor center, that changed everything right there with what had to be done on that project. When we put the decking in at the, in front of the plaza, the wall collapsed. So we had to repair that. That added to the project. There were numerous unforeseen things that occurred on that.
And a lot of this was known in advance, or is it just?
No, none of it was known in advance. Like other than, we thought we would be on budget until like certain charges came through. We were on. We added to the package the trash receptacles, which was $62,000. So I thought we were going to be on budget. So we added another project to it. So overall, we've done 4 significant improvements with about a $10,000 or 10% overage on the overall project, which I did not anticipate.
You know, I'm not sure of any project or very many projects that don't have problems arise. Was it a big cement thing or something under the ground?
There was a fountain actually at the visitor center.
Again,
So,
you know, it just makes me wonder if in the future, whether we couldn't plan on that in terms of a contingency fund added onto it. If we don't use it, we don't use it, but why are you here looking for this to be passed when we you know, you can't plan on everything, but maybe you put in a contingency fund, because almost any project that we do doesn't always go to plan. There's things that come up that you can't foresee. And if we just go ahead and add on to it at the beginning, and if we don't use it, we put it back in or whatever. But it seems like a pain that we have to go through this.
yeah, I should have anticipated a bigger contingency with this project.
I might be able to field that question a little bit better, Mr. Mayor. So there was contingency built into the project. That's how we found the money for the trash receptacles, was within that contingency. However, that was back in, I think those were approved in 2022, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the order might have been changed, but there was a contingency on the project. It's just that we've kind of gone through the contingency, and now we've added a little extra. It is important to note also that that the numbers are roughly correct on a project of $1 million. We're talking about an overage of 110,000 plus tax. It's not ideal, but with the number of things that have kind of been thrown at Director Schatz's way when it comes to fountains underneath the ground and earthworks and highways rescinding their approval and making us move the project and re-giving the approval, regional district involvement. They were rather delayed with their approval of the building. You know, I came from a project management background working as a CFO for a restoration company, and if he had the number of things thrown at him in that context, I would be gobsmacked if he came in within budget. And the fact that you know, 2 invoices came over for 100,000, I'm actually rather impressed with how that worked.
I guess the other thing that I would add is that in today's world, when we have our little piece of paving as an example, when we're looking at a project that isn't gonna get done in 6 months or a short period of time, we have to add on, because what we're priced out today, a year from now, or a year and a half from now, or whatever, is just not gonna be the same price, sort of thing, so.
Yeah. It's a very good point, Councillor McLean, that, you know, we went through a period where we had 7 to 8% inflation too. That probably wasn't accounted for when this project came through in 2021. So that also kind of factors into it too. It's just a lot of unforeseen circumstances.
So there's a point that, okay.
I just wanted to expand on what Councillor McLean said. I'm sure all of us remember many years ago when Valley first dug the property where they put their building and actually found all sorts of coal shafts and things like that. So, and that not only ruined their timeline, but also added to their project as well. I think it's something we should be kind of used to here, is that there's all sorts of hidden surprises under the ground in Princeton because of the history of the community and the way the town's been built upon itself. And I'm not surprised that this has happened by any means. And I would make the motion to proceed with this. Councillor Gould says what she wants to say.
So another point there that was mentioned during your explanation too, which wasn't very clear in here, was that where you had said the fountain in front of the visitor center. So this overall project of $1 million was for 3 things. And that was the plaza, the RV park, plus the sidewalk.
Correct.
So then I assume it was during the sidewalk installation that you came up with that.
The sidewalk, yes, that's where the fountain came in, and that's where the wall fell apart. But that's the wall falling apart, the plaza added to the problem. Because as soon as we went to put the boards down for the sidewalk, the entire wall collapsed. So we had to redesign that, which is a significant improvement over what we had. And it's also now safe.
Right. And so also, like, when did the project start? When did it?
2021.
Again, to go with your talk on inflation and cost. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to see George's motion.
Is there any-
So moved by Councillor Elliott. Second by Councillor Wallace. Any last question? All in favor?
I was slow on the raising of my hand.
With that, a motion to close the public.
Make that motion.
Vote saying that. All in favor? Carried. Without the closed meeting, public, thanks for tuning in.